Hi guys, today I'm doing my first video where I just read a part of the Jurassic Park novels. Now, I haven't read the second novel yet, so I'm going to wait to read the parts of that novel to you guys until I am done with that one as well. I have finished reading the first one, however, and today I'm going to be reading the compy beach attack scene. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not allowed to curse, so I will be replacing words with things like darn and heck. So I just want you guys to be familiar with that, and today I'm going to be reading to you guys the compy beach attack scene. So, let's see. I'm probably also going to be hold up, what am I trying to say? I'm also probably going to be having images throughout this whole, almost this entire video. So, without further ado, let's get started. Mike Bowman felt like a hero when they finally reached the beach, a 2-mile crescent of white sand, utterly deserted. He parked the Land Rover in a shade of palm trees that fringed the beach, and got out the lunch boxes. Ellen changed into her bathing suit, saying, "Honestly, you look great, hun." Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to get this weight off. You look great, hun. Actually, he felt that she was too thin, but he learned to not to mention that. Tina was already running down the beach. "Don't forget your sunscreen," Ellen called. "Later," Tina shouted over her shoulder. "I'm going to see if there's a sloth." Ellen Bowman looked around at the beach and the trees. "Do you think she's all right?" "Honey, there's nobody here for miles," Mike said. "What about snakes?" "Oh, for God's sake," Mike Bowman said. "There's no snakes on the beach." "Well, there might be." "Honey," he said firmly, "snakes are cold-blooded. They're reptiles. They can't control their body temperature. It's 90 degrees on that sand. If a snake came out, it'd be cooked. Believe me, there's no snakes on the beach." He watched his daughter scampering down the beach, a dark spot on the white sand. "Let her go. Let her have a good time." He put his arm around his wife's wrist. Tina ran until she was exhausted, and then she threw herself down on the sand and gleefully rolled to the water's edge. The ocean was warm, and there was hardly any surf at all. She sat for a while, catching her breath, and then she looked back toward her parents in the car to see how far she had come. Her mother waved, beckoning her to return. Tina waved back cheerfully, pretending she didn't understand. Tina didn't want to put sunscreen on, and she didn't want to go back and hear her mother talk about losing weight. She wanted to stay right here and maybe see a sloth. Tina had seen a sloth 2 days earlier at the zoo in San Jose. It looked like a Muppets character, and it seemed harmless. In any case, it couldn't move fast. She could easily outrun it. Now her mother was calling to her, and Tina decided to move out of the sun, back from the water to the shade of the palm trees. In this part of the beach, palm trees overhung a gnarled tangle of mangrove roots, which blocked any attempt to penetrate inland. Tina sat in the sand and kicked the dried mangrove leaves. She noticed many bird tracks in the sand. Costa Rica was famous for its birds. The guidebook said there were 3 times as many birds in Costa Rica as in all of America and Canada. In the sand, some of the 3-toed bird tracks were small and so faint they could hardly be seen. Other tracks were large and cut deep in the sand. Tina was looking idly at the tracks, and then she heard a chirping, followed by a rustling in a mangrove thicket. Did sloths make a chirping sound? Tina didn't think so, but she wasn't sure. The chirping was probably some ocean bird. She waited quietly, not moving, hearing the rustling again. And finally, she saw the source of the sound, a few yards away. excuse me, a lizard emerged from the mangrove roots and peered at her. Tina held her breath. A new animal for her list. The lizard stood up on its hind legs, balancing on its thick tail, and stared at her. Standing like that, it was almost a foot tall, dark green with brown stripes along its back. Its tiny front legs ended in little lizard fingers that wiggled in the air. The lizard cocked its head and looked at her. Tina thought it was cute, sort of like a big salamander. She raised her head and wiggled her fingers back. The lizard wasn't frightened. It came toward her, walking upright on its hind legs. It was hardly bigger than a chicken, and like a chicken, it bobbed its head as it walked. Tina thought it would make a wonderful pet. She noticed that the lizard left three-toed tracks that looked exactly like bird tracks. The lizard came over to Tina. She kept her body still, not wanting to frighten the little animal. She was amazed that it would come so close, but she remembered that this was a national park. All the animals in the park would know that they were protected. The lizard was probably tame. Maybe it even expected her to give it some food. Unfortunately, she didn't have any. Slowly, Tina extended her hand, palm open, to show that she didn't have any food. The lizard paused, cocked its head, and chirped. "Sorry," Tina said. "I don't have anything." And then, without warning, the lizard jumped up onto her outstretched hand. Tina could feel its little toes pinching the skin of her palm, and she felt the surprising weight of the animal's body pressing her arm down. And then the lizard scrambled up on her arm toward her face. I just wish I could see her," Ellen Bowman said, squinting in the sunlight. "That's all. Just see her." "Sure, she's fine," Mike said, picking through the box lunch packed in by the hotel. There was unappetizing grilled chicken and some kind of a meat-filled pastry. Not that Ellen would eat any of it. "You don't think she'd leave the beach?" Ellen said. "No, hon, I don't." "I feel so isolated here," Ellen said. "I thought that's what you wanted," Mike Bowman said. "I did. Well, what's the problem?" "I just wish I could see her, is all," Ellen said. Then from down the beach, carried by the wind, they heard their daughter's voice. She was screaming. Alright guys, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And tell me what other parts of the novels you guys want to hear about. And I'll see you next time.